Alina's world did not break. It paused, like reality itself had stopped to listen. And across the hall, the powerful man finally turned his head. As if he had just heard a voice from a past he buried 10 years ago. That word didn't belong in the room. It cut through marble silence like a gunshot no one heard. And for the first time in years, the man everyone feared forgot how to breathe. The chandeliered hall shimmered like a frozen galaxy, each crystal reflecting a world built on power, silence, and unspoken deals. Alina stood near the edge of it all, small, invisible, wrong for this place. But Myra was no longer holding her hand. That realization hit first. Then came the second. Myra had spoken, and the words still echoed in the air like it refused to die. Daddy. The entire room didn't react immediately. It lagged, like reality itself needed time to understand what had just been said. Then the shift came. A politician stopped mid-sentence. A glass tilted in someone's hand without being lifted. A security guard blinked twice, as if trying to erase sound from memory. And at the center of it all he turned. The man from part one. The man whose presence bent attention without effort. His eyes locked onto Myra. Not curiosity, recognition. Something deeper, something buried. Alina felt her body move before her mind agreed. She stepped forward instinctively, blocking the child. No, she whispered, though she didn't know who she was saying it to. But Myra wasn't afraid. She was looking at him like a memory she had never lived. The man took one slow step forward, then stopped. Because for the first time in decades, someone in his world had spoken a truth without permission. And that truth had his daughter's voice. A ripple spread through the elite guests. Whispers, sharp and controlled. Who is that child? Is this staged? Is she his? No, impossible. But the man didn't hear them. He only saw Myra. And something inside him cracked, not visibly, but internally, like ice breaking under pressure that had been building for years. Alina's throat tightened. This was not supposed to happen here. Not now. Not like this. A man in a black suit approached the boss quickly, whispering urgently into his ear. The boss didn't respond. That silence terrified his men more than any command ever could. Then he spoke. One sentence. Low, controlled, dangerous. Step forward. It wasn't a request. It was gravity. Alina didn't move. Myra did. One small step. Then another. Each step louder than gunfire in Alina's ears. Sweetheart, no. Alina finally reached for her, panic breaking through her control. But Myra turned slightly and smiled. I'm not scared, Mommy. That smile, so pure in a room built on corruption, felt like an accusation. Alina froze, because children don't smile like that unless they believe something adults are too broken to see. The boss's eyes never left Myra. Something about her face, her expression, her presence. It wasn't just resemblance. It was structure. bone alignment, eye spacing, the way she tilted her head when confused. His jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. A memory tried to surface. A hospital room, rain on glass, a woman screaming silently, but he shut it down. Hard. The way men like him survive is by killing memory before it becomes weakness. Still, Myra was standing too close now, and she said it again, softly. Daddy, this time, it wasn't innocent. It was precise, like she had been taught the word by instinct, not instruction. A collective inhale swept the room. Even the chandeliers seemed to pause. Alina stepped between them fully now. No, she said again, stronger this time. You're mistaken. But her voice betrayed her, because the past doesn't need permission to return. It only needs proximity. The boss finally looked at Alina directly, and for the first time, his expression changed. Not anger, not recognition. Something worse, calculation. As if he was placing her face into a memory he had long buried and suddenly couldn't fully suppress anymore. A flicker, gone too fast, but Alina saw it, and it nearly broke her composure. A woman in a crimson dress nearby leaned toward her husband. Is that her? Impossible, he replied immediately, too fast. But doubt had already entered the room like smoke. A young assistant whispered into a phone near the wall. Within seconds, security personnel shifted positions. The atmosphere changed from luxury to containment. Alina felt it. This was no longer an event. This was containment protocol. The boss finally spoke again. Bring me the records. His voice was calm, but something underneath it was not. A man nearby hesitated. Sir, what records? The boss didn't blink. Everything from 10 years ago. The sentence hit Alina like a physical impact. 10 years. Exactly. Her breath stopped completely. Myra looked up at her mother. Mommy, why is everyone scared? Alina couldn't answer. Because fear had a new shape now. Not poverty, not illness, truth. A black tablet was placed into the boss's hands. Fingerprints confirmed. Identity verified. Access granted. He opened it. One file loaded slowly. Too slowly. As if the system itself didn't want to reveal what was inside. Alina saw his eyes change as he read. First confusion, then disbelief, then stillness. The kind of stillness that comes before collapse. The file name appeared on the screen behind him, visible to a few nearby guests. Paternity request, DENIAD. 10 years ago, Alina's knees weakened. She had never seen that file. She had never been allowed to. But he had. And now he was reading it again. As if reading it for the first time in a different life. A man from the legal team stepped forward cautiously. Sir, we can arrange DNA verification immediately. It will take minutes. Silence. The boss didn't answer right away. Instead, his eyes shifted slowly toward Myra again. This time lower, more focused, as if seeing not a child, but a continuation of something he thought he had erased. Finally, he spoke. Do it. One word, and the world shifted again. Alina's voice broke. No, everyone turned toward her now. For the first time, she was visible, not as a waitress, not as background, but as resistance. Myra held her hand tighter and whispered something only Alina could hear. Mommy, he's not bad. That sentence destroyed something inside Alina, because children don't say that unless they already know something adults refuse to accept. Security began moving in, not aggressively, carefully, like handling something explosive. The boss raised his hand slightly. They stopped. His gaze never left Alina. And then he said something that no one expected. Why did you hide her? Alina's throat tightened. Because the question wasn't legal. It wasn't mafia. It was human. And that made it more dangerous. Before she could answer, a voice came from the back of the hall. Sir, the DNA sample has been collected. A sealed kit was lifted into view. Myra had already been touched, already tested, without permission, without delay. As if the result was not if, but confirmation of something already known. The boss stared at the sealed container, longer than anyone expected. Then he spoke again, quietly, almost to himself. If this is true, a pause, a fracture forming in real time, then someone erased 10 years from me. Alina felt the room tilt, because that wasn't just accusation. It was awakening. And when powerful men wake up to lost time, they don't forgive. They reclaim. The DNA kit was opened. The machine began processing. A single blinking light appeared, waiting, deciding. And in that moment, Myra looked at the machine and asked innocently, Mommy, what happens if it says I belong to him?